Plug Podcast have partnered with Dubby in an effort to grow together. The Plug Podcast has made the decision to get a sponsor. Our reason for this, no flawed ingredients. It's not 2018 anymore, and energy drinks need to evolve. Dubby achieves its smooth, effective focus with a high-end tasting experience while using no sugar, no fillers, and no artificial color or dyes. It's called Being Better. Focus and win more. Our coffee fruit cherry extract is the star of the show. This ingredient is what makes Dubby unique and helps to provide smooth and effective focus and energy, making it perfect for anyone who needs to conquer a task. Best-in-class taste, smooth focus and energy isn't enough. Dubby flavors are created with one goal in mind, to taste unlike any other beverage. We combine bold and unique flavor combinations to craft an experience for your tongue with each and every sip. Use promo code ThePlugPodcast for 10% off your purchase.
Dubby Dubby.
You're listening to the Plug Podcast, music and more with Bushy and Metal Mike.
All right, welcome once again to another episode of the Plug Podcast, music and more with Bushy and Metal Mike. I am Bushy. That is Metal Mike, and this guy's way bushier than I am. I've been talking forever about getting this cat on. We finally have him. I actually wanted you scheduled a little bit earlier, but this Black Sabbath final show came up, so we had to kind of push it.
Oh yeah.
But this is Jared Miller. He fronts the Plum Hollow Band down at the Plum Hollow Festival and the Moonshiners Festival, Moonshiners Reunion that I go to twice a year. Welcome aboard. Thanks for coming on, sir.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm grateful to be here.
Oh, we're super excited. First of all, this is very informal. just so you know. I've only been going to Plum Hollow for about four years now. Mm-hmm. It's an experience that I can tell people about. But you don't understand the experience until you go, especially if you're talking to metalheads. I try to tell all my metalhead friends, I finally got Metal Mike excited about it. But it's one of these deals where you say, look, it's all these regional bands and there's like banjos and pedal steel guitars and fiddles. No. We don't care about that. Like, no, but okay. But the other part is you're riding golf carts and you're getting three sheets to the wind. And well, that's not my thing either.
Well, can I interject?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I am a metalhead, but I love bluegrass. I love a lot of that stuff. And I know that it's kind of weird to say this because bluegrass is technically older than, well, I mean, it is a huge part of the history of country music, which, by the way, if you've ever seen Ken Burns's documentary about the history of country music, it's amazing. It is amazing. Yeah. And that guy's still a hell of a documentarian. Anyway, my big brother and I think one of the reasons, because I love all kinds of metal, all different subgenres, and just all different styles of music, really, not just metal. But one of my favorite styles is thrash metal. And I've always said, well, bluegrass is the thrash metal of country, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you guys are flying, man. When you guys play, you're flying. For me, it's just like, I can definitely, and I can't remember the artist, but my brother a while back, in fact, I think next Thursday or sometime he's going to be going to a bluegrass show that's free around here. And there was one guy he saw, I can't remember the dude's name. He played me some of his stuff. Not blind dude. He's blind. And when my brother talked to me, he said, man, I really got to say, I'm starting to really get into this kind of music. Well, that's the power of bluegrass, brother. And he heard my brother's chain wallet and he said, you're a metalhead, ain't you? Like, he knew my brother was into metal, man. That's all right, man. I like that stuff too. And it was really cool, man. So yeah, my big brother, Dave, Scapegoat, he was telling me about that. Guy goes, well, hey man, that's the power of bluegrass. And I was like, that's awesome. So there you go, man.
Now
that's awesome.
And it's more alternative country these days with
there's
a couple of bluegrass artists there. And Plum Hollow does a blend of both with some rock and metal mixed in. It's a lot of fun.
Dude, that sounds amazing to me.
That's when I go to the stage. I'm not going to lie, unless James Radford plays a little bit earlier. There's like 4 or 5 bands I like a lot, and that's when I make my way to the stage. And normally it's 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, whichever time Plum Hollow is going on. You played with Barney though, didn't you?
Yes. Yep. I played with Barney from 98 to 04, but I was with him from late 95, early 96. But I was still in high school. So
Wow.
I left high school and went straight to doing that.
No.
These guys were all in their, 30s and 40s, and I was 16, 17 years old at this time.
So maybe I missed something, but how long has this whole Plum Hollow been going on, man? Like how far back did it go?
It goes back to late 74, early 75 when the band first originated. It was 2 brothers, Larry and Nelson Balcom, started the band up. Now their cousin Mike Balcom is our drummer currently, and he was one of the OG guys too from the old days. So so this thing goes back. It spans a few decades.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean, those guys, so in the old days, in the 70s and 80s, they toured with Asleep at the Wheel, Muddy Waters, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. They played at Telluride Bluegrass Festival. I mean, they were Johnny Paycheck. On the second Plum Hollow record, he wrote the foreword in it for that. So, I mean, there's a lot of history, that goes back into those days. Man.
That's awesome. You know what?
And so I came into it 20 years into the thing.
That's metal right there.
Wow.
It's metal, man.
Yep.
That's crazy. Mindy had told me that you had left, high school to go play with the band, and I'm assuming that's in a touring capacity.
Yeah. Yeah. The bus that's down at the bus. We have both buses on the property.
Right.
That we toured with. I don't know where that came from. That was cool. I don't know how I did that or what, but there's that.
Hey, you know what? Just less graphics my brother has to add later.
Right?
True.
Well, that's great. What was that like touring with Barney? Because all I know about Barney is his, the videos we've seen, and I've seen several of them on YouTube, and I know that Mindy has a couple of DVDs that I've watched with her, and he seems, as much as he seems like a nice guy, he seems about as wild as a wildcat can get.
Yeah, now he does have that. He did have that element to him, but he was one of the most creative, smartest people I ever met. Before he passed, I mean, he was trying to figure out his own way of perpetual motion he was studying that kind of stuff. I mean, he was well-read, studied all religions. So, I mean, he was a force, really. Wow. And so he was a great teacher for me because, I mean, when I met him, I was like 15 years old. So, I mean, that's that prime time. You're figuring out what you're going to start out as an adult, And so having somebody like that at that time, now a lot of the wild stuff had settled down at that time.
Okay.
And so he was kind of a teacher or mentor to me because I grew up playing music. Both my parents are musicians. And I grew up doing that and knew I wanted to be involved with that. And so I told him, I was like, hey, man, I want to learn all I can about being in the music business. And he's like, well, if you're willing to do it, I'll show you if you show up every day. And that's what I started doing.
Outstanding.
So you were like the Obi-Wan Kenobi is Qui-Gon Jinn.
Exactly.
You had to bring the nerd in, didn't you?
I did. I did.
Man. That's awesome.
Man, awesome, dude. Man, he could rock the Jedi look. I mean, all he's got to do is throw on the brown robes. And
right.
He could rock that, dude.
Now, was it always drums? Was that always your thing? Because with Plum Hollow, you're on stage on the guitar and with the fiddle.
Yeah. So drums was my main instrument growing up. I'm somewhat trained on that. The guitar came later, and then I didn't start playing the fiddle until after Barney had passed. Because it wasn't like, it was this. He was old and passed away. It wasn't like that. It was kind of a sudden thing. Mm-hmm. And so I started fronting the band because he passed in March and we had Plum Hollow in May.
Right.
And so it was kind of like, okay. And so, here we go. I know, I was like, well, I know all the songs and, all that. So it was kind of a logistical thing as much as anything, because we were like trying to deal with first that Barney had died. First and foremost, like, oh, my goodness. And so then was like, wow, we've got the festival coming up. We got to do this, And so I started doing that then. And then I picked up the fiddle probably 6 months into it. So I was 31, I guess, when I first picked it up.
Wow.
Wished I'd done that a little younger.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you a funny story about fiddles. Now, my grandfather, he played the fiddle. And I was young, and I'm like, okay, Grandpa, I see what you're saying, but it's kind of the same thing. But he broke one out and he was playing it one day. He was quite good, And I said, man, Grandpa, that's a really cool violin you got. And man, he jumped all over me. He goes, boy, ain't no damn violin. It's a fiddle. You understand that? A fiddle. I went, chill, Grandpa. Fiddle.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's the same instrument, man. It might be played differently, but it's the same. No, it's not. It's not the same instrument, man. I was like, okay, man. So you said that about fiddling, but no, that's a complicated, complex instrument to play, man. It's not the easiest thing to just pick up and start doing. So kudos to you, man.
Thank you. I enjoy, and I say that for two. I wish I had picked it up earlier, just because I enjoy playing the instrument, but it would have been, a little easier to learn it in my teens rather than my 30s.
Oh yeah, I imagine.
You know how that is. So, but I love it. So I picked that up then, and just, I don't consider myself a fiddle player. I know, I can jam on the stuff that I jam on. So I'm not, I don't consider myself a true fiddle player. Like the bluegrass guys. I mean, those guys,
they smoke, man.
They smoke. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a little speed and all that's all well, fine and good, but just some of the stuff they do, it's like it is. I mean, when we put out Psychedelic Hillbilly, that was the thing. We said bluegrass is the heavy metal of country music, and then heavy metal is heavy metal. And so the hardcore of rock and roll. So that's, where we join those two together. Because the idea for Plum Hollow came from a Jethro Tull concert. No, excuse me. It wasn't Jethro Tull. It was, oh gosh, I'm blanking on the freaking name. Oh, it'll come to me. It was Charlie Gearhard was the guy that wrote the songs. Goose Creek Symphony. Band back in the 70s, they were mixing country and bluegrass and a little bit of rock and roll, and they were at a concert and saw that, and they were like, man, that's the kind of music I want to make. Barney and Larry, the two guys that were kind of the dominant forces in Plum Hollow, Larry being the brother to Nelson, one of the founders. Barney came on later. They were at the same concert but didn't know each other at the time.
Oh, that's wow. So cool, man.
So they wouldn't meet for like 2 more years.
That's really a wild coincidence. Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of like, oh, okay, there might be a little something to this.
It was meant to be, man.
Absolutely.
Well, that's
so great. Yeah. So it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Go right on ahead.
Now, I've watched some of the old Barney on stage videos. And of course, I've seen you on stage several times in that role. And I know it's homage. I know it's honoring Barney. But man, you're nailing a lot of his mannerisms and just what he said almost verbatim. Was that something that was either rehearsed, or had you just been on stage with the man so much that you heard it so much that it's just second nature?
It's like second nature. And now, because just about everybody in the band, well, 3 of us in the band had, spent a lot of time on the road playing together. And so, it's really just second nature.
Okay.
Now I adapted, I adapt a lot of the stuff, but, the stories, that was part of the song too. So if I just got up there and did Barney's songs, it would be an injustice, because he was just as much a storyteller. That was just as much of the live show as the songs. It's you got to have that story, and so you got to do it in a way where you're not losing folks either. That way, you keep everybody engaged. Because I mean, we're telling these stories that Barney wrote nearly 50 years ago. We're still singing these songs.
Now, speaking of telling stories, there's particularly a story in this Psychedelic Hillbilly where he's talking about being given the mushrooms, and they thought that would just intensify their drunk. Which song was that? Because
that's Who in the World Wants to Be a Hippie. That's the name of the song. It's the Hippie Song. So that was early on, mixing the bluegrass and rock and roll together, because we would do the Hippie Song, and in the middle of it would be the story of kind of how they got dosed the first time, kind of thing. So it was just tying that together, because when he wrote that song, it was kind of like when disco was coming in. So the hippie thing was kind of going out. And so, that's why if you listen to some of the lyrics talking about Greg Allman and Cher when they were together, that whole thing, so there's it's just a throwback to that. And so it was just the hillbillies' point of view of what mushrooms were like for the first time, when all you'd been experienced to was corn liquor. That's the biggest high you'd ever had, was off a jar of corn liquor.
Oh man, that's funny. That's great stuff. And there's a lot of things that, as you listen to the albums, I've got 5 CDs and a vinyl here. No More Beer Joints in Heaven is one of my favorite ones. A, because it's hilarious, but B, for old guys like us, there's things in there that the young kids might not even understand. Like when you're talking about there won't be no cigarette machine. Yeah. Kids don't know what the heck a cigarette machine is, but I remember being able to put $10 in one of those, pull the knob, and drop your pack of Marlboros.
Absolutely, yeah, man. I mean, and I have done that. I have dropped the coins in there, and yeah,
absolutely. It's a lot of quarters. I'd rather use it at the. Thinking of my lungs now, I'd rather. Rather use them at the arcade than the way my lungs are these days. Do you have a favorite when you're up there doing that Plum Hollow stuff? And I want to know specifically after this, what you were a part of, because you said that you had toured with them. You were on some of the records.
Yeah.
But do you have a favorite track that you guys do when you're up there? Like, is there one you're always just looking forward to? Oh, I can't wait to this. Because I know you mix it up from night to night. Because a lot of people might not even know there's that much material. But like I said, I've got 6 different albums here. Some of the songs are on a couple of the albums, but you got 6 albums worth of music. There's enough material to cover 3 nights.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is there one that you're like, oh, I can't wait to play this one?
Yeah, one of them is Beer Joints in Heaven. That's one that I always look forward to. That's always, I don't know why, but that's just, even when I was a little kid, because I mean, I was a little kid fan of Plum Hollow. Like when I was learning to play the drums, I was playing to the record, playing drums to the record, learning it then when I was a kid. So, but Beer Joints is definitely a favorite, and one that we do that Barney never played out after they cut it was off of Blue Ridge Rock and Roll. It's oh my gosh, I don't call it by the actual name.
That's that one there, people. I told you.
Suckin' on a Muscadine. Yeah. It's called Suckin' on a Muscadine.
Yeah.
And that, I look forward to that song every time, because it's such a great story. And Barney's approach to songwriting and recording, but when I met him, he kind of had his set that he did. We had the songs that we did. We'd change a few here and there, from season to season. But when we would write and record new material, man, it was like pulling teeth to get him to learn the lyrics enough, to go do the songs. And so he just wouldn't do it. He'd write these great songs. We'd cut them. I was like, come on, man, we need to start doing this, and let's do this one. Let's do this. We got it. We got to go work on the stage and get ready for the festival. He's too pragmatic about it,
right?
Because during those days when I was here for early on, we didn't have, like, now our festival's blessed. We've got like a cleanup crew We've got a sound company. We've got stagehands that help us set up and tear down. When I started doing this, I was the cleanup crew. I was the sound company, you know. So it was a very pragmatic thing because I mean, we literally would come in from the road, being gone 3 nights, and be working in the field Sunday, you know, 2 weeks out from the festival, getting ready to do it. We were the prep crew too.
Good Lord.
You've come a long way, Jared.
Yes, because Barney would put an ad in the paper for, you know, if we needed a guitar player or, you know, if we had to hire somebody, say guitar player wanted, must use hammer. You had to be multi-talented to play in this band. I mean, he definitely took the David Allen Coe approach. You know, your bus driver might be playing steel guitar too. You know, even Merle Haggard did that. You know, that was his pedal steel player for years.
Wow.
But
well,
so yeah, it was a
mention Merle Haggard and those kind of guys because I'm a big fan of the thrash metal band Exodus, and Jack Gibson has like a side project he does. He's the bass player of Exodus. It's an outlaw country album that he did. Really good though. He was actually kind enough to give me a copy for free a few Rockin' Pods ago, and we were talking about it, and we both kind of came to that thing where, you know, as far as like attitude, those guys, you know, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, you know, Merle, all them guys were kind of like, well, they gave the finger to Nashville, and you know, it was like, you know, we're not going to do it. You know, there's more than one way to do this kind of music. Like, you know, it got to a point, and don't get me wrong, I love a lot of them old school country artists, but yeah, the music industry is, it's like any huge company, man. They want to cookie cutter things, and they try to cookie cutter a country thing, and it's got to be done this way, and they were just like, no, it don't. And they went to Austin, gave the middle finger to Nashville. I mean, if that's not punk rock and metal and attitude, I don't know what is. You know, like it's like it's like giving it to the man, and we're going to do it our way. You know, and I love that. So it's funny that you mention those guys, because I can definitely see where you guys are in that same spirit. Like, we're going to do what we're going to do the way we want to do it, you know, and if people like it, cool. And if they don't, bye.
See ya. Yeah. You know, have fun.
And I know for a fact, Jared, you have a perfect story to illustrate that, because at one point, wasn't this festival going to be called Woodstick?
Well, it used to be called Woodstick.
Okay, yeah, go on that.
Okay, so when Plum Hollow went on a hiatus in the mid-'80s, the band, the festival, everything just kind of stopped. Barney took a break, and so in the early 90s, he started putting a band back together, but the guys that had played with Plum Hollow before, they'd moved on. You know, life moves on. You know, things changed. So it was going to be the same music, essentially, his music. So he called it Woodstick. It was fine for a few years. Started having the Woodstick Festival. No big deal. And so we were like, all right, well, you know, we're starting to do a lot of merch stuff here. We don't want somebody to rip us off, da-da-da-da. So we go to trademark it. I mean, of course we knew about Woodstock, but we're like, no. Apparently, yes. So Woodstock sent us a cease and desist letter and said, you know, both of us provide musical services. And so, you know, we were here first. You got to go. Now, they weren't completely buttheads about it. They gave us like, what was it? We had 2 or 3 years to phase out all our merchandise that had Woodstick on it and everything, and, you know, change it, you know, back over. Because he'd already had Plum Hollow trademark. That was already a done deal. He just, you know, was like, hey, this is going to be something different. But he was like, all right, well, then we're just going to go back to what it started as, Plum Hollow. But it was kind of cool that, you know, Woodstock came after some hillbillies over here in upstate South Carolina, you know, just kind of hanging out over here.
I mean, personally, yeah, sure, it's a play on words, but you know what? I mean, Charles Schultz probably could have said, hey, man, your name, which I know it was named after, I think, wherever I think Woodstock, New York, right? And that
Yeah. It was in Woodstock.
But still,
So
man,
that's
I
the
mean,
deal.
Charles Schultz could have been like, "Hey, man, where do you get off naming this festival after Snoopy's best friend?" You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, it to me, it's a little petty.
Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. I felt that way too. It's like we're in no way, shape, or form
A
even
threat
in the
to
realm
you.
a threat to you, or do we even want to try to play on Woodstock other than the name is Woodstick, you know?
Right. It's just it's a wink. It's like honestly, it's kind of a homage to them. So why they would have a problem? It's kind of like I remember, and I guess they've chilled, but again, we're going to go into another nerdgasm here. But a few years ago, there was somebody doing a Star Trek fan film, and for whatever reason, Paramount pulled a cease and desist on him, man. And these guys were just like hardcore fans. They were, and that's one thing I can give, like, and this was even before Disney bought Lucasfilm, but George Lucas was that way, Marvel was that way, even Warner Brothers and DC. They're like, it's free advertisement for our product. They're not making any money off of it. And I'll tell you what, some of them made films are pretty damn good. Like, to me, I'd be like, if I was in Hollywood, I'd be like, man, I think I might hire these guys to do something.
Exactly.
Just as good, if not better, than what those guys are coming up with. But to me, that's just short-sightedness. It's kind of like they're not threatening you. They're doing it because they love what you do so much that they're, I would embrace that. I'd be like, wow, somebody's actually doing that. Like Woodstick, like a play on words.
Right.
From what we did, that's awesome, but whatever, man. I mean,
whatever.
How's somebody going to get confused by it? I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
But you know what, Jared? Honestly, I like the name Plum Hollow better. So there you go.
Yeah, and I did too. So honestly, I did too. So I was, Barney was he was ticked off about it, and I mean, I get it. I mean, I get. I totally got his point of view, but I was like, I kind of like Plum Hollow better anyway. So,
well, and who's going to sue you for that? I mean, come on, man. I don't know. It just sounds cool. It just flows off the tongue. Plum Hollow. I like it.
Yep.
It's a great place. I hope you get a chance to come down, Mike. We'll be in the woods.
I'll make it happen.
Day to Sunday, man.
I'll make it happen, bro.
But they got a bathhouse. You can get a shower.
Get there. That's good to know. That's good to know.
Get there early.
Oh yeah, we've got a shower house.
You go to freeze.
Yeah,
you got to get there.
That's no joke.
But it's a great time. Barney did a video talking about the Plum Hollow Festival, and one of the things that sticks out, and it's posted everywhere on the property. You go out of your way to say it when you're on stage with a Plum Hollow Band. And I know that the gentleman that does a lot of the announcing for the bands, when he's thanking the vendors and the sponsors, it's always act like you've been somewhere. And that's a very redneck way of saying behave yourself, because Miss Debbie doesn't play. You mess up once.
That's right. Well, see, that's the deal. We don't have many rules, so if you just slam through it, I mean, you're going to face the consequence.
Absolutely. You banned for life. There's no come back next time and try it. It's like, bye, don't come back.
But I mean, that does not happen very often at all. So
Mindy's only told me one story about one person that was asked, you can't come back, and tried to years later, and she stands by it, is what I've been told.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it was one of those things like, you just don't need to come back.
Yeah, and
just, those 2 weekends of the year, just go somewhere else. It's okay.
It's a good policy. Explain as best you can. And I know it's hard, Jared. I've tried to explain it, but explain as best you can, especially with the type of bands you bring in, because these aren't big name bands, although there are people that are making a pretty big regional impact.
Absolutely, yeah.
But just kind of explain musically what this thing is all about, because I go down to talk about, it's like, man, I get wasted for 4 days and I don't have to be at work and it's a great time, and then I go to state at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. Where you're getting the guerrilla point of view. I'm on the ground. That's boots on the ground point of view. The big point of view that Barney had and that we continue on is that festival has become a place for local and regional bands to get in front of a larger audience. And not only has this audience grown, but they're very loyal and they support local music. And I mean, you can see that with the bands that come there. You know, I mean, the Piedmont Boys is one. You know, they always have a lot of support, but you know, we've helped, you know, move that forward. That's the thing. Barney always wanted to move. He was always for the underdog. And you can't be more of an underdog than, you know, trying to play music for a living. I don't care what genre you pick. It is you're not getting into it because you want to get rich. I can tell you that much. Because the only way you're going to make $1 million in the music business is you got to start with $2 million. So that's how that works. But, you know, it's just, and it was a way to just help bands move forward and gain ground, you know, just in the region, because I mean, there's plenty of great places to play within 2 hours from where I am in upstate of South Carolina, around Spartanburg. I mean, there's great, you know, places to play. So it's a kind of a great place for local regional bands to come into, because I mean, you know, you've been there yourself. I mean, it is, you got all walks of life as far as people that are coming to the festival. You got everyone from, you know, people that saved up for the ticket to get in, you know, had to keep putting back, to people that come in there in, you know, 45-foot motor coaches.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all walks of life. Now, here's the thing. Once everyone passes through the gate and we're just all down there hanging out, you can't tell who's who. That's the thing about it. You can't tell who. You might be standing there having a conversation with somebody you don't know. Could be a doctor, and you know, you just never know it. And it's just, that's the beautiful thing about it, is you got so many different people coming from so many different backgrounds, and it just kind of works. I mean, it does. You know, people on their own chill out with social media, and they just like look at each other and talk and hang out. And it's just, that is as big of a draw for the festival as the music is, because we've never had national acts, never wanted to. It was always, you know, a grassroots kind of thing from the beginning to now. I mean, I'm trying to think if one of the bigger bands that came through, I think we had them around 99 or 2000 with Snake Oil Medicine Show. They came around, and they were raising up a pretty big ruckus at that time. So that was kind of the closest thing, but it's always been local. And really, when I was first, you know, it was more bluegrass. It's kind of grown into more of an Americana kind of thing, but that's kind of the way we've seen it grow in the region. You know, with music, it's not just straight bluegrass anymore. You're seeing more, you know, and there is a good thing.
That's a good thing. I mean,
yeah, it's not.
Again, man.
I mean,
variety.
Quite honestly, the only reason we have genres of music to start with was because we were isolated. The reason the Chicago blues sound different from the Mississippi Delta blues is because they didn't get to talk to each other. They didn't hear each other. They didn't know what each other sounded like. They were making their music.
Yeah,
and we will never have that again.
Nope.
That's what we will never have that again, because, you know, what we're doing right here, the mass communication thing, which is beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but you better appreciate where our music came from, because we'll never have that again.
You know, you got a valid point, Jared, because I mean, it's one of those things, like, some people want to bemoan the internet, and I understand it's definitely
dark
side. I mean, you got keyboard.
It does.
You got
Everything
keyboard
does.
warriors that saves things to people that would never, ever have the guts to say that to anybody's face.
Absolutely.
I mean, and sometimes they'll like argue over stuff, which I'm going, okay, this is like mental masturbation without the payoff. What's the point?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to politics. I end the argument real quick. I'll post this meme I have called Republicans are red and Democrats are blue, and neither one of them gives a fuck about you. And that's it. Shut up. I don't want to hear
That's it. Oh my
don't
God.
want to be preached to, don't care, and it's just pointless to argue. You'll see these people argue with each other. And I'm like, why? Neither one of you guys are going to change each other's minds. It's pointless. It's just pointless.
It's easy to get up here and do it here because then you can hit the caps lock and now you're really in
and then now you're really
not only that, but it's also easy to block somebody if they're winning the argument or they're putting up valid points that you just can't. So that's
the nice thing about down here at this festival is I can't think of ever hearing anybody talking politics.
Right.
Even when we were down there and moving into the next election, the Trump Biden election. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we saw some Trump flags and stuff, but that's where we are in the country.
Well, sure. I mean, it's just location.
Yeah, but you didn't hear anybody getting into it and such. Everybody's down there having a good time, like you said.
Yeah.
And I run into all kinds of people, all races of people down there. And that's the best part, because a lot of people will hear me talk about this Plum Hollow Festival, and it's like, oh, Lord, the white rednecks getting together.
What's funny about
God
that,
to Taylor me for putting out that video on Plum Hollow.
Yes. Oh, I know. I love that. That's great.
It's funny you should mention that, Bushy, because that's one of the things where I knew that actor who said he got accosted by Trump supporters, and of all places, Chicago. And he said that they said, this is Trump country, boy. I'm like, Chicago? Really? I called bullshit immediately. I'm like, Chicago? Chicago is blue, always has been blue. What are you talking about, man? I knew right then. I'm like, liar. Liar, liar, liar. Like I'm going,
totally.
Come on, at least pick an area where it's a little bit more believable. Like Chicago? Okay, dude. Like I laughed. I laughed out loud. I knew. I turned around to my nephew. I said, he's lying, dude. There ain't no way.
Oh, yeah.
We were laughing because we're like, Chicago, dude. Oh, that's funny. But no, it's just one of the things though where with the internet, like I said, you got your dark side, but then you got
you do.
I've met so many amazing people that I never would have met. My co-host being one of them, right there.
Yeah.
If it weren't for the internet, I mean, I wouldn't be doing podcasting. I wouldn't be a co-owner of an internet radio station. I wouldn't have met so many amazing and awesome people that. And
it is.
What's really cool have become just as close to me as any of my. And I don't want to use the word real life friends, but my local friends, people I've known all my life.
Right. In your community. Yeah.
And here's the thing that's funny about it is while those people care about me and love me, some of them don't get it. They don't get they like music, but they're not into it like I am. They like stuff, but they're like, they didn't it took a while for some of them to even understand what the hell podcasting was. Or why are you doing an online rate? What are you doing? Until they actually listen, then go, oh, wow, that's really cool. But some people, like most of my closest friends, they don't watch my podcast. They don't listen, and I don't get mad about it.
I don't even worry about that.
Yeah. I don't get mad about it, but I even joke for something.
Oh yeah. I mean, I get it when I got out of high school and I was playing with Plum Hollow. So we have the festival in May. So I was like, we just graduated. I'm like, hey, won't y'all come? They were like, I don't know about that. So, I mean, I totally get that. My friends wouldn't even come out.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where it's like, like I said, I remember a buddy of mine, I've known him since, he's literally like a brother to me. And I said, hey, did you hear this or listen to that? And he goes, no. And what's weird, he's actually been a guest on my show, the Metal Mike show, but he's never listened to anything. And I said, well, hey brother, thanks for the support. And of course he just started cracking up. He goes, man, whatever, I support what you do. I said, yes, you give me moral support because he knew,
Yeah.
you know, he was like, oh, dude, you're going to kill it. I have absolutely no, yeah, you're going to be great, you know? And I was like, you sure? And he was like, yeah, dude, you're going to be great, dude. So Brian, shout out to you. But yeah, he doesn't, and part of it's, some people get busy, they're living, they're doing their thing.
Oh, they do. I mean, and my friends always supported me. You know, they check
Yeah.
on me like, "Oh man, we saw y'all were here and there." You know, so I
Right.
mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, but I totally get what.
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
mean by
right.
that.
But anyway, as I said, that's the great side of the internet. Like right now, man, we're having
Yeah,
this
it is.
conversation. So, but you are
Exactly.
very
And so,
right, and about the whole because most of your music scenes came from whatever area they lived in, wherever,
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what genre of music it is. Black Sabbath came from Birmingham, a really rundown, bombed out industrial, something I can kind of identify with. Living in the Metro
Yeah.
East St. Louis area, a lot of industry here, a lot of refineries here, a lot
Yeah.
of, totally. I'm like, oh, I see, I could see
We got
why.
to bring this boy to the mountains.
Yeah, I could
Yeah,
see
you
why
got to get up
Sabbath.
into the mountains for real,
Yeah,
dude.
I could see why Sabbath were very much like, well, for their time, especially abrasive, because
Oh yeah,
Ozzy
yeah.
even talked about it. Like, when I saw, if you're going to San Francisco, be sure to put a flyer in your hair. And he's like, what the fuck is San Francisco? Oh, what the fuck is this? He didn't
Yeah.
get it. He didn't get the hippie
Mm-mm.
stuff, man. He was just like,
No.
I can't find a job. I'm starving. I have no shoes on my feet. He was just like, I couldn't, he goes, that wasn't real to me, where
Right.
if you notice, I mean, and really, let's be honest, Black Sabbath, as far as their subject matter, especially, it was real life, but it was the darker side of
Mhm.
life. Nobody in 1970 was singing about stuff like that. It was like,
No. Oh
make love,
no.
not war, or,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that's all
It
well and
was
good. That's
not
a
that.
nice
Yeah.
attitude to
And it
have.
has its place. Yeah.
Sure, but I think you're right. Like I think even country, like the Appalachians, man, bluegrass, very much every music, and it's all incestuous. So many people play in so many different bands before they make it. You'll find out.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like I didn't know for years. For years as a kid, I had no idea that Glenn Fry and Don Henley had actually. Glenn Fry for a minute, just for a minute, was in Bob Seger's band, the Bob Seger and the System, his
Yeah.
first band.
Silver. Right.
Yeah, before the Silver Bullet band. I never knew that. He's actually
Huh.
singing backing
I didn't realize
vocals.
that.
It's just like a 16 or 17-year-old kid on Ramblin' Man. And he was going to join Bob's band, but his mom's like, no, you're not. You're not going on the road with that man and doing drugs and being a heathen, So, and then later him and Don were in Linda Ronstadt's band.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Now they were basically her
and-
backup band before they did the Eagles.
Yeah, it's just interesting how incestuous all these music scenes are. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
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 Everybody knows each other, and everybody's at one point been in somebody else's band. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it really is cool how small of a community it kind of winds up being.
And like you said, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's the Bay Area thrash metal scene. I don't care if it's the West Coast Sunset Strip scene. I don't care if it's the New York or whatever it is. And it doesn't even have to be rock. It could be what you guys are doing, or like you said, like the even the outlaw country guys, they got together as, you know what, we're going here and we're going to start something here. And they started their own outlaw country movement, which is awesome. I mean,
it is. I love it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. So yeah, and like you said, there's a big difference between Chicago blues and Memphis Delta blues
and Mississippi. Mississippi Delta blues.
Yeah, and I love both types of blues though. But me
too.
Then you got England with they're listening to all these records and
see if you don't cut this dude off, Jared, he'll keep going.
And you've got to referee this, man, because I'm just as bad.
Yeah,
I'm just as bad.
What? We're talking, Bushy. We're talking. Okay,
we're just having a moment, right?
Right, damn it! You know this guy. I'm bonding with him. Damn it!
That's going to mess the whole moment.
But I was going to say, but the British guys, they grew up. Well, even the Beatles and them and the Stones, like the Beatles more, I think, rock and roll, but they grew up on Buddy Holly and Little Richard and Elvis Presley and the Stones and Fleetwood Mac and John Mayall's They are all
Well, then
listening.
now don't
Waters and
forget
Howlin' Wolf and all those guys, man.
don't forget the Chet Atkins influence with the Beatles as well.
Oh, sure, Chet Atkins and there was somebody
It
else.
was because I
Les
mean,
Paul, Les Paul,
yeah, Les Paul.
Chet Atkins, all those guys, man. Yeah, they loved that stuff. They grew up on that.
Oh yeah,
They
they
were
did.
like,
They did. They loved all the
you
American
know,
music.
yeah. So again, but you had the British blues, which was different.
It was different. Yeah, yeah,
And
very
yeah,
much so.
it's pretty cool, the evolution of music. And like you said, in a way, I don't know if you're ever gonna have that now, because you can literally have people. Well,
Yeah, it's too accessible.
I mean, look at COVID. You literally had musicians jamming and playing incredible music. One of them's like half a world away,
Yeah.
and
Right.
which it's great. I'm not complaining, but you're right. It has changed things.
It has. It has. And so it'll be interesting to see how it continues to evolve.
I mean, we kind of had this conversation in our last episode.
Yeah, as long as AI and such doesn't take it all over. It's
yeah.
Speaking of too accessible, you've got to get the Plum Hollow stuff up digitally so that we can purchase it.
Yes, I do.
At like Amazon or iTunes or something.
You know what? One thing I would recommend, Jared, is Bandcamp, because with Bandcamp, they actually let the artist keep most of the money that they, I think even on certain Fridays, the artists get all the money. I would look in.
Oh, wow.
I get a lot of my music as a radio DJ, man. I get a lot of my music from Bandcamp. The other thing that's really cool about Bandcamp, and Amazon's the same way, if you buy a physical copy of the album, whether it be vinyl or CD, they give you a digital version of it for free, which for guys like me and Bushy, being that we're online DJs, that's essential, because do a show without, I can't, it ain't like the old days where you spin the records or whatever. It ain't like that, so it's like I gotta have it in digital format, and I gotta have that's another thing. Musicians, I love you, but if you want us to play your music, please make sure your metadata's right.
Metadata.
At least the name of the song and the artist.
That's what you was getting ready
because
to say.
we don't have time to go in there and,
and correct all that.
Right.
Yeah.
So please, public service message.
Lord.
Yes, that is a PSA. Yeah.
Aspiring musicians.
Talk about the caliber of musician, because I know you have one twice Grammy nominated. We hear it at every festival. Musician there. Just talk about the caliber of musician, because I am not well versed in country. I know a little bit of 80s, 90s. That's kind of my sweet spot. This stuff, had I never gone to that festival with Mindy, I'd have never heard of any of it and probably wouldn't have cared. But it's become such a big part of my life now. I look forward to going down there. And like I said, there's those few artists that I really look forward to listening to.
Yeah.
And I'm right up there on the front of the stage with her. I'm there to hear these groups. The rest of them, no ill will, not my thing. That's my go drink.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
But the caliber of musicians is ridiculous.
It is. I mean, it really is. And the thing of it is most of them should be Grammy nominated. A lot of the musicians, and they're local. And I mean, they are just these smoking players that come down there, and they're all local guys. I mean, it just blows my mind the amount of talent that we have just in the upstate of South Carolina, up into North Carolina, this whole little region right here. There is so much talent, because the Grammy nominated that you're referring to is Ronald Radford. And I've known Ronald since I was a kid. So, we've got the festival that we do there on the property. We also have our own recording studio as well that we have up there that we built. And Barney wanted that as well to be kind of turnkey, instead of spending, at that time, $10,000 to $12,000 to put out a CD. Well, let's just invest in it and do our own. And so, so we did that kind of thing too with it. And so I'm going to be putting that back together. Actually, I'm going to open the studio back up. We used to have, I would use some of the festival bands in the studio, because they were great. Ronald would be one of them. I would hire Ronald, and he would bring in a full band. I'd have a singer-songwriter, and we would cut 10 songs in a day.
Wow.
All these guys lived in Greenville, South Carolina. And
That's
I mean,
wild.
they were just, I mean, we're talking, you know, what you hear on the radio level players. I mean, they hear a song once, they chart it, they play it. Okay, next, you know, and it sounds like $1 million kind of thing. So, I mean, it's just incredible the local talent that we have. And I mean, and we get guys down there that you'll get to talking to them, and heck, they might have toured with some of the national acts. So, I mean, I don't want to get on here and name drop or anything like that, but
Sure.
I mean, it is just incredible the amount of talent that we have. But you got to remember too, you know, as far as the bluegrass side of things, where we are, you know, Shelby, North Carolina is just right up the road from us, the home, you know, of Earl Scruggs. So that's Earl Scruggs, that 3-finger style banjos that you hear now came from that.
Okay.
Before it was called clawhammer, and it's a different way of playing. And it's more of a percussive style of playing. You don't use the picks. You just kind of hold your hand like this, and you kind of knock your thumb on the head of the banjo and pluck the strings with your hand. So it's a different kind of sound.
Okay.
But that was developed right up here. So, I mean, you know, a lot of what you heard, you know, comes from the Carolinas. I mean, you know, what you hear current bluegrass, that's because that came from actually Mill Springs right up the road from where we had the festival.
Wow. That's just
Right on,
amazing.
man.
The amount of musical history there. One of the things that got me is how often do you guys the Plum Hollow Band in particular, how do you guys get together, rehearse anything, or are you just that damn good? Because I'll pay attention and you laugh, but I'll look at you like, okay, we're gonna do this one in G. Oh, and everybody knows, okay, this is where we are, and bam, it hits.
Yep.
No, this one's in C. And everybody knows that I haven't heard any mess ups. And I was a musician when I was younger. I played in rock and roll bands and metal bands. I haven't picked up a guitar since my daughter was born. But I'm listening always. Yeah, I'm having a good time, but I'm always listening. I'm like, these dudes. And they're going out the key before they start. Screw that. I mean, you know.
So, no, we don't rehearse.
That's
Wow.
Good God. That's awesome.
Yeah. Now, if we want to add, if we want to change some stuff, yeah, we'll get together and we'll run through it a couple of times. But a lot of times, honestly, we'll do it like at the festival. I'll just have the studio set up for where we can rehearse. So we'll just run up there for, 45 minutes or an hour or something and work on something before we go do our set. I mean, we've done that before too. And that comes from just all of us have played these songs for so many years, as part of my DNA.
Gotcha.
So it's just like, it's just ingrained,
Right. You could
And
probably
so
do
it's
it in
just-
your sleep at this point. Probably.
Yeah. And it's just a part of me, really.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
awesome.
Tell you
though.
what, from somebody standing out there in the crowd watching to hear say, hey, we're going to do this one and this good. What key? G. Let's do G. And everybody knows. And you might have done it in a different key last time, but that's the one you chose.
That's the one we're doing tonight.
So for a guy sitting out there, it's like, these sons of guns, look at this. Just calling keys, pulling it off. I mean, it's amazing as a music fan to sit out there because no concert I've ever been to did the guy say, hey, what key? Never.
Right.
That is pretty
that's
badass.
true.
That's awesome, man.
That was just a fun thing to witness that I really noticed at this last festival.
Right.
Well,
There was a few songs that somebody was asking which key.
I got to say, with you doing this whole Plum Hollow thing, you and your wife, you're doing the Lord's work as far as I'm concerned, because I'm a big believer that live music is very, very important. We got a guy here. I'm born in Alton, Illinois, actually. And in Alton, they've resurrected. I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Mississippi River Festival. It used to be at the SIUE college. And
I've heard of the festival.
Tom Petty played there. The Who
Yeah.
played. Everybody back in the day played there. They've brought it back. They're playing. They've been doing shows at the small Alton Amphitheater. Last year they had Larkin Poe, and Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown. But what's cool about it is some of the bands are fairly well known. Some of them aren't. Some of them are from the local Alton, St. Louis Metro East area. So they got a really cool thing going. I wasn't able
That's
to
cool.
go, unfortunately, this last one. They had
Yeah.
Blackberry Smoke as the headliner. But
Oh, cool.
I really love what because this friend of Bill's, he's a lawyer, and he made a lot of money basically handling asbestosis cases back in the day.
Yeah.
And he does a lot for the Alton community. He does a lot around here. And it was he bought the rights to the Mississippi River Festival, and he's trying to make a thing of it, man. And
That's awesome.
and it's people like him and you and your wife, man, that I tip my hat to you guys, man. Like because I try to get as involved as I can with the local, because we got a lot of really good rock and metal acts, and even some country. Like, we got some good musicians here, man. We really do. It's like people need to hear them, man. Support live music. It's more important than ever.
It really
buy
is.
a T-shirt, because good God knows the bar they're playing in isn't paying them anything. So buy
No,
that's what I'm
totally.
saying.
Merch.
Yeah, by all means,
Yeah.
man, support the bands, guys, because it's important. I mean, it's like, and you'll just see some amazing musicianship. Like that night, I knew who Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown was. I knew him by reputation, and I saw him open for Clutch. Well, his wife is one of the gals in Larkin Poe. Them girls were amazing. You'd like them, Bushy. They're very bluesy, but they kind of have like a folk side to them too. Really cool band. But yeah, like I said, we got some really cool bands here. We got Birds of Squalor. We got 1781. We've got some really cool bands here in Alton, man. So it's like, and I try to play them on my show and push them as much as possible.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, you know what? I might just hit those guys up for a future interview, Bushy. Maybe even see if I can have Bill maybe interview John or some of his people that throw the Mississippi River Festival and talk about that, so we can get the word out.
Now, we have another festival coming up in October. These sets are always the same time. It's always the last full weekend of May, the first full weekend of October. No,
it's Memorial Weekend.
Okay.
It's always Memorial Day weekend in May and the first weekend in October.
Okay. Gotcha.
And there's a reason for the Moonshiners reunion. That time frame celebrates the Battle of Kings Mountain that happened during the Revolutionary War, which that particular battle, was mainly won and fought by moonshiners and mountain folk.
Oh,
they came out of the hills. Yep, they left their liquor stills and their farms and stuff, and they came and they whooped up on them, and then they went back home and went to making liquor.
That's metal right there. Man.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
well, they probably used a lot of guerrilla warfare tactics.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, that's where all that. Yeah, I mean, this area is where that was born.
Yeah,
outstanding. I had no
Francis
idea
Marion.
about that. Now, I love that it's Moonshiners Reunion. I always associated it with that TV show, and Mindy's like, no.
Yeah, we were before the TV show, but
you did have there was a season of it recorded there.
There was, yep. The first season that Josh and Bill were on there, we did it at where we have our Thursday night, the small stage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where they had the underground still site.
Yeah,
for that whole season.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen, been on the ground watching all of this take place, but just being there and the big sign. I hope that sign gets repaired, because Lord knows
it is. Yeah, we just couldn't get it before. We couldn't get it done before the festival.
Sure. Well, the hurricane wasn't nice to anybody, so
it sure wasn't.
But thankfully, everybody was okay. Everybody I know, anyway, seemed to have were okay. You guys down there,
us too.
I saw everybody that I recognized when I was there.
So
that was good. How do we get information here? I mean, I know how to get the information. How do you get the information to find out how to come down to this festival?
Well, you can always go on social media. We're on Facebook. Just search Barney Barnwell, or if you search Moonshiners, Moonshiners, or go to our website, really, moonshiners.com. that's where we keep everything up to date. Matter of fact, I should be putting up. Yeah, we've got the dates up for this year, and I think we've already got the dates up for next year as well. And that's got links to get you either on our email list. It takes you to our social media if you need to message us directly.
Outstanding. We're about ready to wrap it up. After we finish this, don't go yet. I've got to get some information from you,
okay,
if you don't mind, because I got to talk to your missus about T-shirts. She had mentioned that to me at the festival.
You're cutting into my day job now.
Hey, look, I'll get a hold of her because I'm handling all that. Not trying to mess with you, sir.
Exactly.
We're trying to get some Plug Podcast T-shirts made up, and I briefly
spoke with her, man.
But she was busy. I said, fair enough. So I'll get that information from you afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the Plum Hollow Band. Like I said, you always see me up there as soon as you guys go on. I try to be as front and center as possible.
Oh, yeah.
It's a real good time. You can find YouTube videos of you doing the Plum Hollow Band. You can find the old stuff with Barney, who really is all in honor of. So I encourage all of our listeners to go find Barney Barnwell stuff first, and then come check out Jared. He does a great job. And it's weird. I'm telling you, it's weird when you're watching it because you watch Barney and his mannerisms. Jared is not Barney, but some of the stuff he does, it's like, man, he's doing Barney right there. Just the way he'll kind of tap his bow. And there's some things you do. I've been watching. You can find that stuff. There's a great video that was posted shortly after this last Plum Hollow Festival in May by a gentleman named Tay Ellerby. He's a great guy.
Great guy.
It's kind of funny. He happens to be African American. I was hanging with the rednecks who survived. It was basically the gist of the video. He's down there. I've seen him every time I'm there. He's a great guy. He has a blast.
Oh yeah,
as wild as the rest of us.
Yeah, and he comes and helps. He'll help us get ready sometimes. He'll come help, get prepared, help us clean up, and all the stuff you got to do. Now he's awesome.
Yeah, he's great. Hangs down there at the Hippie Trap, and that's the other thing. There's campsites with names and stuff. I mean,
there are locations to get to.
Yeah, and the Hippie Trap is a location I highly recommend.
Yes, I do too.
It gets me in trouble, but I highly recommend.
It's a good trouble. It's the good kind of trouble.
Yeah. The trail back,
the weedy kind of trouble.
Relatively straight, but I'm still, the road's twisted and turning. But that's just because we're having such a good time.
Exactly.
Jared, thank you so much for coming on with us. I've
been thank you for having me.
This thing for years. I've played, multiple bands on my old radio station. Coming into this new station, I think I'm going to be starting with. I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'm going to be getting these CDs onto my hard drive too somehow. My hard drive's giving me a hell of a time on ripping CDs. We playing.
I can send you digital files. I've got the digital files. I can send you that.
Oh well, then we'll definitely exchange some information after we get off.
Yeah, we'll get that. Yeah, we'll get that done.
My whole life easier because there's a couple songs from other albums.
And Bushy, send me stuff. Send me it too.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely hook you up. Drop it, dude. Your friend, brother.
I know. Well, it's definitely your friend right now.
You ain't lying. Jared, thanks again. Thanks for trying to.
Man, thank y'all so much.
It's been an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to meet you, brother. It's been a great conversation. We'll have to have you back on sometime, and I hope I get to see you next year, man. I'd like to meet you.
I hope so. Please come see us.
It's twice a year. It's a good time. You won't be disappointed, Metal Mike.
I'm sure I wouldn't. You know me. I'm a music lover, so I'm yelling, woohoo!
Yeah. Now in May it's going to be hot. Just so you know.
It's going to be hot.
Well, you know what? Then I'm probably going to be like, man, I tell you what.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Hey, thanks again so much, Jared. I really appreciate it. Make sure you stay on here for a minute. We're going to get out of here. Metal Mike.
Keep fighting the good fight and stay metal to your dying breath, folks.
That is right. Buy vinyl, and we'll see you next time.